Sean Wei Lee is furious.
He's upset. 100%.
On a good note, we do not have to change the intro song. That is for damn sure. Welcome in everyone to a brand new late edition here on a Thursday night. Usually we do it on Wednesday, but Joey, you are in ATL, boots on the ground for that abysmal. When I mean abysmal performance, they had no heart,
sleepwalking.
They had no pride.
Nothing. Emphasis. Nothing. I mean, you lose 2 in the series. You think you could win the third, but it just gets swept, and it was just embarrassing from start to end.
How was Truist Park? I've never
nice.
been.
Yeah, I mean, loaded. Absolutely sold out crowd. It seemed like there wasn't an empty seat in the whole arena.
A lot of Met fans.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of Met fans. And obviously, it got quiet after the second.
Yeah, it went down pretty quick.
Not a lot of let's go Mets. Yeah, it was a lot of chopping going on. So on this Juneteenth game, Braves swept us.
6 in a row down. Mets are the worst team in the league. So that's always good. But you know what else always good? The UFC keeps it moving for the first time ever. Baku, baby. Shout out them. Going in the Middle East, especially with everything going on. I give them credit. I give them credit for doing this. But,
Azerbaijan is like right caught in the middle.
Yeah, it's literally right there. So we will see, but I think everything will be fine. Kid, I forgot to mention it. I should have put on the thumbnail. The Iron Turtle.
Yeah, of course.
Back.
You should have put a little graphic or something. But,
the Iron Turtle.
Yeah,
I fucking love him.
You know, I got something. I think you're gonna like it for that pit fight. But you know, I always like mentioning events that are taking place over the course of the weekend. I heard Newark, New Jersey's hosting some boxing.
Really?
Likewise is Birmingham, England, and even Callum Walsh is headlining a fight in California. So there's some boxing for those boxing heads. Aries FC 32 and MMA, PFL semifinals. Not covering them. Not worth our time in that.
Are they still in Orlando at Disney?
I don't know. I just know it's another embarrassment.
And you know who they have answering questions now? Jonathan the Coach Man.
I like Coach.
I do too, but
they're saving face with the personalities they're getting, but when it comes to the product and also like the airing of it, I mean, Don Davis is still falling flat in his face. So I mean, who throws good promotions and productions at LFA? They're up to 211.
Nice.
Uriah Faber's got another A1 Combat. I think they're up to 28. And then another thing, you know, I know we're talking BKFC later, not to, steal the shine from you, but BKB, I got to speak to Josh, who is a co-promoter for BKB when they actually were at Trigon Combat last week. They're up to 42 events. So if you want to get your fix for bare knuckle boxing, you can also watch BKB.
There's a lot of promotions going out now that you mention it, and everyone's doing their own thing. I love to see it. Even Dirty Boxing.
Dirty Boxing.
I liked it, bro. I think the production is well. Real quick on PFL. Yeah, we're not Don Davis guys, but you know who I am a fan of and who he's really building it in Europe? Dan Hardy. Boots on the ground. He's really building PFL Europe. I'll give him credit.
I mean, he's not afraid to speak his mind. You got to be, like Valorant out there. You have to be willing to, I guess put yourself out there up for criticism. But at the end of the day, you can get to the bottom of things. You can put your heart and soul into it, and you can actually get something positive out of it. Less for other people in that organization.
What is Atlanta zip code that you're at right now?
Oh, dude, is it gonna be anywhere here? I don't know.
Because I'm looking up Atlanta zip codes, and they give me so many.
Oh my god, it's huge. I'm in Atlanta, but I'm technically in Vinnings, where they put the new park.
Oh,
so it's a whole nother. It's like by Smyrna and Marietta.
How do you spell that?
Vinnings. It's Vinnings. I think. Vinnings. Vinnings. Vinnings, Georgia. That's where the battery is. I gotta say, I did some lives just to show you. I don't know if anyone's been down there. If anyone had a chance to see my live.
Cobb County.
Yeah, a lot of Cobb license plates out there. Macon County is right next there.
Population 13,000, zip code 303 3-9.
But how you like the remember the French Alley in Charlotte we went? I think you would like the Battery. You know, it's hard getting to. Like we got to walk through parking garages. Like if you're staying at any of the hotels outside the Battery, you got to walk across the highway, across parking garages to get in. So I got to say, you know, the infrastructure is kind of shit, but the ballpark's nice. And when you get into the Battery, there's a lot to do.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time, regardless of the outcome. Wi-Fi, don't want to jinx it. Wi-Fi looks great though in the hotel, right?
Hey, Hilton Honors member.
Love it. I fucking love it. Well, Joe, let's get into it. We will recap UFC Atlanta before we get into UFC Baku. Vintage Kamaru Usman. He wins in the main event 49-46 times 2, 48-47. I scored at 49-46. I thought the fifth round, Buckley, as even though he couldn't defend a takedown to save his life, I'll give him credit. Cardio looked good. He went all after it in the fifth round. I wish I saw a little more of that, but he couldn't because he just kept getting taken down. And it was kind of a y'all must have forgot kind of moment. But
yeah, after the
I appreciated it, if I'm being honest.
And to look back, I'm like 3 years passed by since we last saw Kamaru Usman. It didn't feel like it, and it certainly didn't seem like it when we got him in the octagon. So, I mean, like you said, vintage Usman performance with the wrestling. Go back to his Marty days. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. But maybe Buckley just isn't that good. You know, he's beating the older guys. Granted, you know, you got to have some sort of skill set to beat those guys because you know, with their intellect, with their fight IQ, if you don't come with a game plan, you don't come correct. I mean, you'll get checked. So he certainly has had a good run up into this, but man, to fall flat in your face on like I said, off the couch, Kamaru Usman, man, I don't know what you do with the guy. I'm seeing inklings at 170 that, you know, Sean Brady, Ian Gary fight. The division may move right past you. And like we talked about, bro, they can get a match with Kevin Holland. Whether you like it or not, whether Kevin Holland's a top 15 fighter at the welterweight division right now, people are clamoring for it. The UFC may make that because how much they like Holland. He's such a company guy. He can get that fight back. And I don't think that's a good matchup for Buckley after what we just saw.
Yeah, Buckley showing all the class in the world. Both of them said he went on Henry Cejudo's and Kamaru Usman's podcast. He said, you know what, I'm willing to train with you. I'm willing to learn. I need takedown defense if I really want to elevate my game. So credit to him, acknowledging, you know, his flaws. But it looked like from the performance, and you let me know, you're more in the jiu-jitsu gym than I am. It looks like Buckley isn't getting people around him that is challenging him.
Yeah, I mean, you could get that, you know, the entourage that are a bunch of yes men and giving you what you want to hear, but not what you necessarily need to hear. But we always talk about it with the coach's corner, right? Depending what their coach is giving their fighter, I think it weighs a lot. And like you said, it could make waves in the training, you know, in the camp. So
yeah, I
don't know. You know, it's something also. It's a tricky subject because you want to have loyalty, right? He's still training with the guys like St. Louis, right? He's St. Louis, Missouri guy, is he not?
Yeah.
So I think he's still got a core group of guys from there. You know, it's a delicate balance, but I mean, I think we're kind of past all that. Oh, you know, if you go to another gym to train, you're disloyal or what have you. I forgot the word. It was a Brazilian word for it. They used to call them that. But like if you balance gyms. But now, I mean, it's
a nomad.
Yeah, but no, it's even more. You know what I mean? Disrespectful. But man, I don't see why not. Why don't you go even train with Kamaru Usman? Like you said, I need that takedown defense. I need and the camp is going to be killer up in Colorado. You know what I mean? Like that the guys they got out there.
Henry Hoof, you got Trevor Whitman up there.
I was going to say, yeah, Justin Gaethje is training with them. You know, that whole entourage is going to get you right. And so maybe that's what Buckley needs. But I know after a performance like that, just to go back to it, I don't think they're going to do him any favors. Something's telling me that Holland's going to get the matchup, man. I think they're going to try to get Holland into the top 15.
Were you surprised Kamaru Usman's knees weren't an issue?
You know, it's surprising. It's when we seen Kamaru Usman in the octagon, what knees, right? But it's like we hear him. He has to walk stairs backwards, right? I think Joe Rogan had said that. There's like little intricacies with his knees that he might not be able to do. But when he's in a fight, I mean, we can ask ourselves, what knee problem? He doesn't show it when he's in a fight.
Yeah, not at all. I know you said Kevin Holland. I think they're going to feed Joaquin Buckley to the boogeyman, Michael Morales. And
You said it. He seems like a champion right now.
yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't
As
know
for
what they're
Kamaru Usman, I know he said he wants the winner of Islam and JDM pound for pound, current pound for pound versus past pound for pound. I don't think so. I know he's claiming for it, but I think the fight to make is him and Bilal. There's history there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's
that.
make that happen.
At 170, it makes sense. You know what I would like to see though?
Hmm.
And it's probably not because he's going to stick at 170. But if he were to weigh up as the backup for Hamzat and DDP, but the thing is, it'd be more towards getting the Hamzat fight back. I think he'd be mismatched if it were DDP. It's unlikely that he's falling out, more likely that Hamzat's falling out. But it would just be funny that he takes his spot after that.
That would be funny.
Yeah,
I think Sean Brady and Ian Gary gonna fight. I think Shavkat is going to fight.
That's funny how we thought Ian Gary may fight Shavkat, but
maybe Bilal actually gets that Shavkat fight. I don't know. I really don't know what happens.
You got a good one with Michael Morales. That could be because they're right there. It's a fight that they can kind of take each other's trajectory away, and then loser has to fight Kevin Holland.
Yeah, exactly. All hail Thug Rose. I mean, what a performance.
Keep the theme.
Yeah, keep the theme. As much as people weren't happy, I thought it was 30-27. I thought there was maybe you could give the first round to Miranda, but outside
Could
that,
you?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Look the shell of herself, man.
Yeah, she tore her ACL in the first round. She came out and said,
"Oh, wow!" It didn't seem like that though. I mean, the adrenaline of the fight, it's just as you spoke, literally, it kind of identical as to Usman. Talked about the knees, been talked about the wrestling. Those were big factors for him. Miranda Maverick didn't use any wrestling, and like you said, the knee actually came into a play. So how about that?
And I don't know why you don't. I don't know why that was your forte. Go and wrestle, And shout out Thug. She gave Miranda Maverick, a girl below her, an opportunity in the top 10, former teammate, and she just came up short. There are levels to this. Rose Namajunas is a 2-time undisputed champion, and she's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. There is just levels to this. So I love Thug, and I think she's one fight away from being in the picture again. I think a fight against Alexa Grasso is a great fight.
That hasn't happened, right? That has to happen. Then.
That has to happen.
Yeah.
You figure Valentina and Weili Zhang are going to fight. You fight Alexa Grasso or
who's Natalia Silva going to fight? Yeah, I was going to say.
Manel Fior? No, that'd be crazy.
But
that'd be crazy.
Manel Fior beats her, then it's
she's undeniable.
But she got wiped with Valentina, right?
Yeah.
It didn't look competitive as the Mets did tonight. So I mean, do you do that? Do you kind of set Natalia Silva up with that? I don't know. It's
I think Natalia's a favorite against everyone but the champ.
And that's my thing. I think you said it. She could kind of sit and wait. You could let the super fight happen and just have Natalia Silva waiting for whoever comes out victorious. Maybe Weili Zhang beats Valentina and she gets the 135-pound bet, and we have that matchup at 135.
Oh.
That'd be crazy. So
do you like the and we're forgetting the boogie woman, Jasmine Jasudavicius.
Low key in that weight class. I thought you were going to mention your girl, Verna Jandiroba, number 1 ranked in
Takara.
the weight class.
Yes, but that's the straw weight. For flyweight,
yeah.
I still think a belt is possible for Thug Rose in this state of her career. Is that too far out? How many? Because she's one fight away.
You said Jasmine Jasudavicius is knocking on the door of the top 5. I think Rose is better, right?
I do too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to come down to that wrestling yet again. That seems to be her bread and butter. So, if she could keep denying that, if they match them up, I mean, that's going to be a big test for the two of them. So, that could happen. But Rose getting to the title is possible, especially if Valentina loses, if it's to Weili Zhang or if it's to who we mentioned, Natalia Silva. I think that opens up the division entirely.
You are in the great state of Georgia, and Atlanta is one of the few athletic commissions that do release the purses. Shout out Thug for earning it, and she's deservingly so for what she's done for the fucking company. I'm glad that, and she came out and said, she goes, yeah, sometimes the numbers are foo-foo, but no, this is accurate. I
Yeah.
made that. Hell fucking yeah. And I think she's underpaid still.
Yeah, and look what else she's done, like you said, for the company prior to, I'd say, probably the pandemic, right? 2020, after 2020, where she's had all these like fights that would been on fight nights and stuff like that. But during like the Fox era of UFC, bro, she was on every pay-per-view. You couldn't catch a Rose fight without her being on a pay-per-view. So maybe it's good for her exposure to maybe the newer crowd, right? The younger audience getting into the sport, and we could see her and that the legend that she is. And if she keeps her winning ways, man, like you said, maybe we get her in a title spot, 125.
I know the crowd in Atlanta wasn't the happiest. A lot of decisions. Shout out Edmund Shabazian. Going all 3 rounds. Andre Petrosky did not look good in my opinion. So
another one with the wrestling. I gotta take away my biases towards my Peruvians and towards my grapplers because it's not working. Another one that just man, you had to be worried about that. I think we took a shot on him. Local guy. We like the team that he's coming from, but sometimes like I think, and no offense to him because probably would kick my ass, right, to say this, but people getting into the sport maybe are not as necessarily fighters. Like bro is definitely a good athlete and probably a killer wrestler, and he's got great jiu-jitsu, but sometimes when the going gets tough, the ones that are tough, they get going, and the ones that aren't, they kind of fold under the pressure. So yeah, that's what I see, unfortunately. I think that it comes a time for him to, step up and make a name for himself and showcase that he's a, highly ranked fighter. But man, I get burned every time with Edmund Shabazian too. Maybe it's time to start backing that guy.
Every time. Honestly, the whole main card I thought was kind of boring. That's outside of the main event and co-main. I know they went to decision, but I was just very intrigued. Like Cody Garbrandt, I think he's done.
I think he needs to go to BKFC or BK. Yeah, go bare knuckle, man.
The Cody Brundage fight was not good. Alonzo Menfield, I thought he did sneak out the win. I don't want to say it's a robbery. I thought he won rounds 1 and 3. So
that's a disappointment for French MMA and Omar Sy the way he did.
Undefeated guy.
Yeah, and then he gets that loss. And then, Cody Brundage, like you mentioned, dude, that was – I was going to say that was a bad cop-out. No. Oh, my God. I think we buried the lead with.
I was getting to it. That's the lead, but
that is
Rodolfo Bellato.
What the fuck?
I don't want to be as strong as Lionheart and say, he faked it because I don't want to. I guess I don't want to believe people are faking it in the UFC, but
you've been around enough to know when somebody's getting hurt from a shot. That bro was not hurt at all.
I mean, man, it looked bad, Joe. And every time they played the replay, it made me believe that he faked it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like maybe the shot landed a little bit good, but you don't react that way. Reacting to the shot, looking at the ref, gaining his attention, and then going out, and then
shout out him for like continuing to play it off, and then tried to get the ref and try to grab him.
I think it's hilarious looking back at it. Got to give him 10 out of 10 for horrible acting, but fucking time and place, bro. Talking about who wants to be a fighter, I honestly think you cut Bellato. I don't think he's a fighter. Like, bro has the skill, as we talked about with who we mentioned before. But dude, that's an embarrassment, and we know embarrassment. I think that takes the cake over this course of the past week.
I think it might just be a curse fight. I mean, they've tried to book it. It got canceled.
Fights can you have though, right? With Bellato, because look at the draw between him and Jimmy Crute.
Yeah,
and then all his, I think, White Contender Series wins were fluky. It's time to go.
I'll say this. I know some people didn't. I actually agreed with the no contest because I was kind of on Paul Craig's side where the guy, I don't know if it was intentional, the up kick. I didn't even think it landed all that hard, and that's regardless. But I don't know. I think since we had an actor, it made me seem it made it seem disingenuous. So I was like, I kind of agree with the no contest.
Our visceral reaction comes out, but we saw literally a week prior with a pay-per-view, Kayla Harrison got up kicked, and I think it was landed a lot harder. Juliana threw those with some force, and it landed, and she didn't react even remotely close to that. So
no, and shout out that ref for initially taking 1 point. More refs need to do that
immediately. I love
immediately
that because an argument about the point being taken on weight misses.
100%. I think that's a good shout as well. The ref says it in the back. That is your first warning. Why are we giving more warnings?
Yeah, hey, you get a written. If you're driving, you get a written warning from a guy. God bless that you got a warning, but you get pulled over again, you'd be like, "Hey, I just got a warning. Yeah, here's your ticket.
Here's your ticket." Exactly. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but I agree with the no contest. Capolato. Shout out Court McGee. I thought the fight was pretty close, but Michael Chiesa, he did enough. That's 3 in a row for 37-year-old Michael Chiesa. Now he's not going for the title, but that's a good win streak in the UFC.
I mean, he's not just getting layups, bro's getting finger rolls. All right, they're setting him up on his retirement tour. I mean, are we going to see a Michael Chiesa push for the title, a Maverick push?
You think so?
No, that's what I mean. There's no way. So,
I don't think he's getting layups. He fought Kevin Holland. He got submitted. Then he submitted Tony Ferguson. Then he submitted Max Payne Griffin. And now he just won against a very good Court McGee.
Court's old. Matt Griffin is tough, but technically we've always seen he can improve.
And Tony Ferguson's a Hall of Famer. I don't want to hear anything.
I get you. He's my favorite fighter, but bro, I mean, it's not Ferguson of old, bro. It's not Elkoui of old. And then you saw what happened with Holland, and Holland is just grabbing necks low key. So
yeah, he is.
I think he can surge at 170, but we did see some knockouts. I know it was a lot of decisions, but that's why we watch the prelims, guys. You got to watch the prelims because you see the upcoming guys.
Yeah,
see some vicious knockouts.
The hometown guy from Augusta, Georgia stole the night. I'm so happy for Malcolm Wellmaker. Yeah. I reached out. I'm trying to get him on the show. The guy is so fucking cool.
Yeah, dude.
When he walked out to Waka Flocka, ole do it. He had the crowd going crazy. So
and he quit his welding job, right? He was welding,
yeah.
Right? And bro had made enough money. How much in bonuses already? Like almost 100,000.
So he got his last. He got a $50,000 bonus last time. Again, he got the performance of the night, and that's on top of his 24,000 for win and show.
Win and show. Yep. Hell yeah, bro.
I'm happy for him, man. The kid's young. He has power. Chris Mortino, I mean, he's tough, but that fucking right hook.
That only gets you so far. It does, And another shout out to the knockout we saw prior, because you saw Cody Durden at the weigh-ins give him that handshake, and Ochoa knocked him out. He's returned the favor on the.
Yeah, and Cody Durden even came out and said, "Hey, fair play. I did that to you," and then fucking Jose. See ya in the second round. So
and another one. I know we had the Ricky Simon decision, and we had the first fight, which was kind of dominant. Vanessa Demopoulos didn't really show up at all. But our boy,
Phil fucking Rowe.
Hell yeah, bro. He saved the night. I gotta be real with you, bro.
He did.
Bro,
I love Phil Rowe.
I do. That dude, he's down, bro. He's game. You remember he hopped in the pit with Craig Jones. He don't give a fuck. He's ready to throw down. You see how those fights go. He's gonna go pedal to the metal and try to finish these fights, and that's exactly what he did.
That's exactly what he's trying to do. Trying to finish fights. He's from East Flatbush, but now lives in Orlando. He's neighbors with Mike Perry. You gotta love it. I mean,
those guys are nuts.
Yeah, he's nuts, and I think they need to promote him more. He wants to be active. Put him out there. He's going to go for the kill. I fucking love Phil Rowe. I'm a fan. I've always been a fan of Phil Rowe. So shout out him. Overall, kid, how did you do for UFC Atlanta?
Not good. Sorry, guys. Nah, fucking shit. Yeah, 3-12-1 with the no contest. So got a second tie of the year, but I need to fucking lock in. What's going on with me? Too much going on. Too many outside distractions. It's time to focus.
Yeah, so I am 4-3-1. The no contest killed me, but it is what it is. I took some chances. Phil Rowe really saved me because he was at plus money, but Andre Petrosky screwed me, and then the main event just killed me. I had the under 4.5, and I took Buckley.
I could care less about the record this past weekend, because Phil, he got that victory. I was hyped for that, and then also the other win I got was in 10 seconds left. We hit big.
Let's fucking go. All right, kid. Well, thank you so much. Let me do a quick read before we get into UFC Baku. Before we do that, a quick word from our sponsor. We're brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It was no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor our tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys or an elderberry watching the Mets lose 6 in a row, guys, it really doesn't matter. Ours flavors pair perfectly with that artisanal blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Pigs and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. Joe, we don't know about weights because we are doing this a day earlier today, but is that going to handicap? Is that going to factor into your handicap?
Nah. I was looking at it, kind of down the middle, and I'm saying the Pacers just blew out Thunder.
Yeah,
they got a
Game
victory
7
there.
Sunday night.
Hey, but no, it didn't sway me. And honestly, if we do have any missed weights, honestly, I'm feeling like
cut them.
I think no, I feel like everyone's going to come in motivated. Maybe the only one that scares me is like Mike Tibek. I don't know. I feel like he missed weight. Has he?
Orenbach?
Maybe, or the heavyweight Rizan Kunaev took in the pool of steroids that dude had to take to beat an opponent. But I don't know.
What I do love though, 12 p.m. noon start time for the prelims. Oh, main card starts on 3 o'clock. ABC card. It's an ABC card.
I love
Thank fucking God. I love this start time. But quick turnaround for Kamaru Usman, going to be in the corner for his brother, starting to show off.
Flying from right where I'm at, from Atlanta, hopping all the way over to the Middle East. All right, so let's get it kicked off with his brother, the motor. Yeah, the heavyweight division, Muhammad Usman is a dog. He's at plus 150. He's taking on a tough guy, man. I don't know if you know a little bit about Hamdi Abdel Wahab, but he is minus 150.
Great pronunciation.
And he's, I think, worthy of the minus 150 favorite. I'm going to pick him. I'm going to hammer him. Usman, at opening these cards, has seemed to be horrible. I time and time again, I think he drops the ball. I think the UFC gave him some chances to make a name for himself, but I think he only beat Zach Palga, who's not even in the UFC anymore. So
wow.
I think Hamdi's the right side. I think he could finish him, but he's skillful enough to get a victory on the judges' scorecard. So at minus 150, you can just play him on the money line, and that's what I'll do.
All right. Yeah, nothing for me here.
Let's go on to a name I mentioned in the past. Remember, like I said, this guy, number 10, could be a champion if it was 1990. The flyweight matchup between Tagir Ulanbekov, minus 395. He's taking on Azat Maxim at plus 375. The Kazakhstanian, we've seen that he might have had some potential. And, we had high hopes for him. A lot of the Kazakhstanian fighters that came in, we thought they would, be something else, so kind of like a Shavkat, but even he kind of got exposed. But I think Tagir Ulanbekov is the right side, man. I know he's a heavy favorite here. He's even favored to win on the judges' scorecards, but my issue with him is his finishing ability. So it's a prop that I don't like playing as much, but it's probably the smart side and the safe side is Tagir Ulanbekov via decision at minus 110. I think he's too class. He's going to win, I think, in every part of the fight. Besides if he gets caught. I think Azat's not like Amakan, who has that knockout power. We call that knockout early on one of the prelims, but since that's going to be a factor that's out, I'd rather go with the ranked fighter and the guy who, like I said, he hasn't fought as late as much, but I mean the dude's world class, I think, with his skill set. But as he gets to the higher echelon of fighters, you could see drastic differences with why the other guys are ahead of him. So let's play Ulanbekov via decision on minus 110. In that.
All right. Just by the way, I don't have a play till the turtle.
Hey, like I said, I got something for you there. But let's talk about this bantamweight matchup. We got two women's bantamweights back to back, but this first one is Arina Alexieva. She's rightfully so the favorite here at minus 265. I honestly, I think the Polish power won't reign supreme in this one. Claudia Segula plus 250. I looked at her footage a little bit. She's only fought cans, to be honest with you. I don't think she's going to be able to fare with the level that Alexieva is. So I think this is going to end inside the distance. And I think it may happen in both fights, even the one I'm going to talk about next. So take Alexieva inside the distance at plus 175. I think I'm going to make a little parlay live with you guys. So let's talk about the next one. Bantamweight, like I said, women's Daria Zelenizakova. She's plus 225. She's taking on Melissa Mullins. Melissa Mullins is the real deal. I think she has a title challenger written all over her.
Wow.
I think she's a really good fighter. Yeah, and I think she's also going to win inside the distance here. So I'll take her inside the distance at plus 125. And hell, let's like I said, let's make that quick parlay for you. I could do that. I just think that the levels are too far apart. I don't think Zelenizakova is going to be able to match up with Mullins, and like I said, Segula is not going to be able to match up with Alexieva. So
if you want to take it, yeah. No, I was just going to say, if you want to take both of the women that Joey likes, minus 275, minus 235, 2-leg parlay on the money line, minus 106.
Oh, you got a minus 106 on the money line, but if you take the prop bets inside the distance, plus 125, plus 175 gives you plus 500 and up. So some good money to make if those women's hit, like Dylan says. I know women. But we've made it to your pick, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Middleweight to fight Ismail Nardaev, dog price plus 170, taking on Young Park, the Iron Turtle. Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. But what's also disrespectful? Why isn't he on the main card?
Right? He always puts on entertaining fights. He's minus 175, brother.
The guy he's fighting, I think he's a tough customer. You know, he returned to the UFC, got a big win against Bruno Silva. He wrestled his way, unanimous decision. I think that was like 308. But the problem is he won't be facing a kickboxer with little takedown skills in this one. He's going to be facing historically have issues with a guy like the Iron Turtle. Excellent cardio, solid grappling, and pressure. I think he's a better striker. So minus 180, I took him on the money line. I like that as well, but you could also get him. I think it goes all 3 rounds. I think the fight goes the distance. You could get that at minus 130, but I'm going to take the Iron Turtle win by decision. That's another play at plus 165.
Yeah, we like this dude. He brings it, and he always puts on an entertaining fight. Nardaev, I feel like he drops the ball. I think on his debut, we had high hopes for. I think both you and I took him, and he was on a main card. So like you said, we could have had this fight on a main card. Why not in Baku? But I can see that why the main card is what it is. There are a lot of like close relative guys in that region. So I'm with you. I'm with the Iron Turtle. I think the pressure that I was mentioning, I threw in there with your caveat, is also going to play the factor. You don't know what Nardaev you're going to get, and I'm going to go on the end that he's not going to really show up in this one. So give me someone who shows up every time. I'm going to take the Iron Turtle money line.
You'll be surprised. I think you think I have a pick for the Welsh gangster, but I don't. I am rooting for him, though.
Yeah, I mean, bro, he's a massive favorite, this welterweight matchup. But I think, the South Koreans, their MMA is getting better, man. They're getting some studs out there. They're well-rounded. They're always very smart. Like, dude, they go in there with a game plan. And, I mean, Coke could be live at plus 500. It's always the value pick at that point, right? But the Welsh gangster is going to be hard to overcome. We've seen him ability to finish. We've seen him have a gas tank, striking. And he's a crowd guy. He's a crowd favorite. So you can see why maybe that swayed the judges. I mean, swayed the books a little bit. And, it may even sway the judges. But I wonder if he's going to be able to get the South Korean out of there. That's my thing. So I have a sneaky little play. It's actually kind of favorited on the books as well. So they're seeing that these guys are tough and they could make to the judges. And so I'll play the over. I'll go over 2.5 rounds. If you're not taking a play on the Oban Elliott, you're not taking the Welsh gangster. That means it could go to the judges. If you were to take him, I bet you'd probably take him inside the distance, and then I'd have to come up with something else. But the fact that you're staying away from it, maybe the slight heavy favorite and just everything in between, I'm going to go and say that this fight is going to be a tough one and that he may win, but could be split. And it will go to the judges over 2.5 rounds, minus 145.
All right.
Now I think we're main card, or is this the main event of the prelims?
No, main card opener.
Main card opener. All right. So we're at 145. This is featherweight division. And Muhammad Naimov, the Hillman, is at minus 235. He's taking on Bogdan Grad at plus 250. Naimov is going to start my 3-leg hometown Evs and Ovs parlay. because Naimov, and he's going to be coupled with the other two fighters I'll talk about next. I just think regionality. I think the crowd. We've seen how these crowds can get. I think it's going to be an electric environment, and I think it's going to weigh heavy. Bogdangrad always drags himself into a firefight, and I think Naimov excels in them. I really do. I think he's got a good chin. I think he has knockout ability. He's got that ability to finish on the ground. So Grad could set him up for some trouble in this one because, like I said, he doesn't shy away from a firefight. So give me Naimov, taking him on the money line, but he's the first leg of the Evs and Ovs parlay. So I'll go into the next fight then, the lightweights here. And Sarah Longo's guy is on the mat. Nazim Sadikov, the Black Wolf. He's a favorite, big favorite, minus 400 because he's taking on Nicholas Mata. And Nicholas Mata at times could show his skill set and knock somebody out, but we have seen him on the receiving end of some vicious knockouts. The Manuel Torres one comes to mind with that elbow, the elbow. But plus 375 is the bookmakers are making him to be. Maybe rightfully so with what they've seen in the past. I think Sadikov is a bona fide finisher. I think he's lethal on the feet, and I think he can get this done. But, in the chance that Mata's tough enough and can make it to the judges, I don't think that he could win on the judges' scorecards, Mata. I don't think he could do enough volume. I think he's a knockout kind of guy, get you out of there, win on that, as any fighter can. All it takes is one. But yeah. I think Sadikov's going to have too much skill, too fast. I think all around he's a better fighter. That's why I'll play him on the money line. So he's the second leg of that Evs and Ovs parlay.
Yeah, Nicholas Mata historically has had issues with his chin. 5 of his 6 career losses have come by TKO. I think that's bad news when you step into a cage with Nazim Sadikov, who he finished 7 of his 10 fights with his hands and strikes. So I think what's even more important is Sadikov is one of those fighters, and I feel like he should be a better wrestler with the team he's with. But, I think he'll be able to dictate where this fight goes. Add that, he's fighting back home in Azerbaijan. I think that's going to be a big movement for him. I'm going to take Nazim Sadikov to win via KO, TKO at plus 125.
Nice, brother. Yep, hammer it at home. Let's make some money on basically like our kind of backyard guy. He's running our own backyard pretty much, even though, like you said, he's represent over there in the Middle East. So let's get into one fight below the featured fight. We have the lightweight matchup between Mike Tech Oralby, who's minus 150, taking on Tofik Musayev at plus 145. If that last name didn't give it away on who I'm going to be taking, I don't know what to tell you. Tofik Musayev is my pick. I like him at a dog price at plus 145. I guess you asked me at the beginning of the show that if the weigh-ins, the weight misses are going to sway anything. Like I said, Mike Tech might be the one that fears on the scale. I've seen him have trouble making 155 before. So maybe there was actually a fade on him if that does happen. So, yeah, Tofik Musayev is making his debut in his home in Azerbaijan, in the capital of Baku. I'm going to take him. He's going to cap off that 3-leg Evs and Ovs parlay. And like I said, if you want to play him straight up on the money line, it's a dog price. So I'd say do it because the dude's skillful. If you ever seen him in Risen, if you ever seen him fight in other promotions, dude is really good on his feet. I mean, he's like a feisty dude. Like, you know what I mean? He's like a ball of muscle as well. And I know he's a little up there in age, but I think he'll make a statement win here. So that all said, plus the 145 with the parlay that I have on 2 favorites will give you odds of plus 335. That's a 3-leg hometown Evs and Ovs parlay.
Yeah, so I'm going to go under 2.5 rounds. I wanted to do 1.5, but it was chalky. Over, I wanted to do over 1.5, but then I said, you know what? I do think someone's going to get put away. And I'll say this. I think this matchup has fight of the night potential.
It does.
Oralby, he showed his durability in his last fight. He overcome early adversity, nearly getting the win against Rembeki. And considering each of his 3 UFC fights have gone over the 1.5 rounds, yeah. I think the same thing could be said here. Oralby has his wrestling. I think he could take away Tofik's striking ability and powers, maybe run the clock out, but maybe a late submission too. I think someone gets a submission here. So I'm going to go under 2.5 rounds here.
I like that. So you're saying it was chalked over the 1.5?
Yeah.
Was it? How much was the price on the?
The over 1.5 was minus 240.
And what was under 2.5?
Minus 110.
Oh, so wow, interesting. So yeah, they're saying that it's going to finish somewhere in the second round.
Yeah.
So you can also put in a quick bet for fight to start round 2. Maybe it's playable. I don't know what the odds are on that, but you know, I'm going off your playbook, and so you give me some ideas with what you said. I like it. Now we've made it to the future bout, and talk about Curtis fights, man. He's like one. This heavyweight matchup is between Curtis Blades, and when you look that out of paper, you're like, Rizvan Gunaev. This is a layup for Curtis Blades. UFC is doing him a favor here, but I don't know. I minus 225 for Razor Blades, plus 220 for Gunaev. You know, I got something that is going to make me throw up. Heavyweights going to the scorecards. Over 2.5 rounds is my play at plus 115. I mean, I feel like if nobody's going out in the first round, it's going to get ugly in there, sloppy. You know, obviously we've seen Blades maybe have a better gas tank, but Gunaev is going to be disgusting in there, I feel like. So if somehow he can thwart anything that Blades is throwing his way, like I said, it's just going to get ugly in there. And so maybe we get a late finish, but I think we're going to get a disappointing featured bout where these heavyweights that should be finishing one another are just going to reach the judges. So I'm going to go with a disappointing straight total play of over 2.5 rounds at plus 115.
Yeah, I'm going to take Curtis Blades here. I like him. It's too chalky at minus 250. I like via KO TKO at plus 125.
He's got hands, man. He's got power.
Another fighter who I think could get it done with his hands. I'm already on Nazim to get it done. I don't really care that he's fighting a Russian with some decent wrestlers. Blades has fought in the top level guys in the heavyweight division. He's shown time and time again that he can out-grapple anyone not named Jalton Almeida. But on top of that, we've seen a real physique change from him. And, you know, his opponent, let's not bury the lead. He's tested positive for 4 different anabolic steroids in his career. So
at one time, not separate throughout his career. At one test.
I think the Russian gets gas. Blades has the pace. He has the hands. He has the wrestling to finish this fight wherever he wants. So Curtis Blades via KO TKO at plus 125.
I just hope it happens late in the third.
Yeah.
Then we both make money.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the co-main event here. Another 155-pound matchup. This lightweight matchup consists of Rafael Fiziev plus 110. Dog price at his own backyard, taking on, and maybe rightfully so, a very rising star, hot contender right now, Ignacio Bahamondes. He's on the line at minus 115. I'll take your thoughts first. You of course got something on the co-main event.
Oh, of course. Nacho, baby. Bahamondes. I love him, man. I think he's so good. He enters this fight with Fiziev, who's probably one of the cleanest boxers in this division. He's won each of his last 3 fights by first-round finishes. Like I said, Fiziev, he's a great striker, but I just believe Ignacio can match him on the feet. Look at that lateral movement. I love the team he's in Chicago as well. He's with some dogs out there.
Like you said, Bilal's out there. And
Juliana Pena, all the team out in Chicago. I think he's going to use his lateral movement, keep the distance, and I think he's going to outpoint him, outstrike him. And he also has the submission game as well. Look what he did to the Tarantula in the first round. I think he has more ways to win. I'm going to take Bahamondes on the money line minus 130.
And we also have seen this time and time again, fighters are never the same after fighting Justin Gaethje, besides maybe Dustin Poirier. So Fiziev coming off of that loss, granted it went to the judges, he took a beating. He did. And Bahamondes, I think, is going to continue that. I think he's going to put a beat down on Fiziev on the feet. You know, he's going to want to keep it standing there. I don't think this is going to the ground. I think you got 2 prideful strikers that are going to want to keep it on the feet and showcase their skills. And I think that's what can get Rafael hurt. I do. I think Bahamondes is young. I think he's ferocious. He does have power with his kicks and punches. He's creative. Like you said, he's coming from a good camp. Bro's on the rise. Give me him on the money line. I think he can win any which way. And I know it's hard to say back in Azerbaijan, in his home country for Rafael Fiziev, but I think it's going to be a tough pill to swallow for him. I think Ignacio Bahamondes is too much. So I'll go right into the main event. Let's go right into the main event, man. For UFC Baku, light heavyweights taking center stage. People are discounting and looking at Jamal Hill and like laughing at him. And be careful who might have the last laugh. He's at plus 125. Khalil Roundtree is the favorite. People like, and maybe are also actually both ends of the spectrum that are complaining about the trunks. But then I made a tweet. I was like, yo, remember back in like I said, the Fox era, we had before the Reebok era, before Venom, before that, people are coming out with their own creative stuff, their own specific shorts and trunks and stuff like that. And we know fighters, they have them hung up in their room in a glass case. You know what I mean? So it's not uncommon, guys. If anything, I think it'd be good for the sport to see more of it. But bad thing for Khalil Roundtree is I feel like he's maybe hearing this. I don't know. He's gonna be really good in there. I'm not gonna take anything away from Khalil Roundtree, but more or less, it's looking at Jamal Hill with that knockout power and saying that he can get it done. That length, I feel like, man, he could just go out there and catch Khalil Roundtree. Another one that is coming from a very tough fight, right? The beatdown that he take from Alex Pereira. Sometimes getting beat that bad, it's just not good, and you may not, be the same ever again. But we don't know until it happens. But man, I gotta go with my boy Jamal Hill. I'm gonna take sweet dreams here, and I think that's what will happen. I think for some reason, certain round, one of those fists are gonna connect. That 33-inch size fist is gonna connect Khalil Roundtree and then put him out. Though Khalil Roundtree may have, I guess, more technical an arsenal, man, that street boxing comes into play. And I think Jamal Hill will catch him. So plus 125, I'll take the dog in the main event.
I love this main event so much. I like the under 3.5 rounds.
A finish. You're seeing a finish.
Yeah. The whole week, to be honest, I was leaning towards Jamal Hill because I like Jamal Hill. I think he's a dog. I think he has the advantage on the feet. He has 3 inches of height, 5 inches of reach, and over a year, an edge over his opponent. And I think he has the advantage on the feet, too. Hill possesses the amount to grapple as well. So I think physicality, I just think Roundtree, he lacks the movement and maybe the strike defense.
He may be more vicious. He may be more vicious in a sense, but
then I looked more into it. And, I thought Roundtree against Alex Pereira, I thought he fought well. Honestly, he looked great through 2 rounds. He gave the champ all he could handle until Roundtree got tired in round 3, then knocked out in round 4. But I feel like his ability to hang with Pereira so long, I feel like Roundtree belongs near the top of the division. And Hill has lost back-to-back fights, bad knockouts too. We talked about Rafael Fiziev maybe not being the same. I don't know if Jamal Hill's going to be the same. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens for a 3rd time here. Hill is obviously the better striker. Roundtree's good.
I don't know. The Muay Thai work that Khalil has put in, I don't know, may speak for itself.
And that's fair.
2 different accents of it. Yeah, 2 different accents of the striking.
I just feel like unless Hill can threaten Roundtree with grappling, I think he's going to get knocked out again for the 3rd time. Give me Khalil Roundtree. I'm going to take him on the money line, minus 110, and I think he finishes him too.
So you're playing it down the middle, under 3.5, just in case. Yeah. But you're siding with Roundtree in the main event.
Yes,
not a bad pick, man. I mean, dude, it looks like a stud still. You know what I mean? You look physical body types. Jamal has never looked the part, really, even with the belt wrapped around his waist. And Khalil Roundtree has always looked the part. So, hey, looks may be deceiving. We'll see. May the best man win for the main event of UFC Baku.
Absolutely. By the way, remember 12 o'clock Eastern start time, prelims, 3 p.m. on ABC, main card start time. All right, kid. Before we talk about BKFC real quick, we had some news. Paulo Costa and Roman Kopylov was called off for next week, International Fight Week. It has been rebooked for UFC 318 on July 19th down at the Bayou. So hold your prayers. You never know what you're going to get from a Paulo Costa fight. So. Sure. Also, by the way, UFC Abu Dhabi main card was announced. What a fucking card. Main event.
Free, right?
Yeah, free. I think it's another ABC card, actually. Robert Whittaker's main event against RDR. Yeah. Welcome to the UFC Aaron Pico 5-round co-main event against Evelev. What does Evelev have to do to get a championship?
Be Aaron Pico.
He has to be undeniable, so... great fight between Piotr Jan and Marcus McGee. That should be a very fun
People
fight.
Complaining and arguing about it. Marcus McGee deserves it. Yeah. And Peter Yan being as game as he is to accept the fight, I don't think anyone is answering that call and they're like, oh, Marcus McGee. They're probably like,
no thanks.
Yep.
Saeed Nurmagomedov taking on Bryce Mitchell, going down in weight. Not 145 anymore, at 135.
Ooh,
So
Bryce Mitchell
yeah, no more.
cutting.
Yeah, he's going down.
Wow. I mean, shit. Damn.
Shara Bullet taking on Marc-Andre Beria. That is a good fight. And
Wait,
then
who's fighting the Marc-Andre Barrow?
the Pirate, Shair Magomedov.
Oh, he's
Shara
got to
Bullet.
fight. So it's got to be overseas.
Yeah. Well,
That's-
yeah, it's Abu
that's
Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. And then main
This is
card.
all Abu Dhabi card. My bad. This is all Abu
yeah.
Dhabi
And
card.
then the main card opener, Nikhil Krylov taking on Bogdan Guskov.
They like Bogdan Guskov. What the fuck?
But this is a great main card, kid. I like it.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi's in for a treat. Like you said, we're getting a free card on ABC. It's probably going to be the same kind of time as well.
Yeah.
It's going to probably be an early card. I like the early cards. So I don't have to go to bed at 2 a.m. Drive, like in the middle of the night, hitting deer and shit.
August 16th at the United Center in Chicago, Edson Barbosa will take on Darko Close. Is that how you pronounce it?
Drakkar Close.
Drakkar Close. Interesting fight, I think, matchmaking for Edson.
Drakkar Noir. But the broken crack, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it only takes one. So, I mean, he could have a shot in that, but it look on paper, it does seem like a mismatch.
Yeah. And then we also have King Green taking on Carlos Diego Ferreira, UFC 319. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, two vets. Going to squabble a little bit. And then they'll have a beer after and settle it.
And then Elvis's cousin getting right back on the horse, Waldo Cortez Acosta, going over to UFC Shanghai August 23rd to take on Sergey Pavlovich.
From one Sergey to another, huh?
Yes, sir. I like it, even though he got robbed. He got robbed.
Yeah, here's your treat. Good luck with Pavlovich. Different styles. You like Sergey, more of a grappler-oriented guy, still will stand, but you're not going to get much grappling. No, he can with Pavlovich. He's going to try to take your head off, so he better be ready. Elvis's cousin, lock in.
Lock in. Kid, let's get to it. June 21st on Saturday night on DAZN in Texas, BKFC 76. Jessica I making her BKFC debut. We got a legend in Andre Orlovsky. Man, what do we got? And it's the main event. Tony Soto taking on Ben Bonner.
Here, I'll set you up. I'll work from the main event down. So, like you said, Tony Soto, rightfully so, the favorite. And he's the champion, but mind you, he just lost to Tenaglia in the European series. So he's coming off of a loss, and he's playing a tough Ben Bonner who can crack, man. So I might be taking Ben Bonner now. He's got a little more reach, a little longer, a little taller. You can never doubt the underdog with that height and reach advantage. So give me the plus 175 for the underdog for that championship bout. And then in the co-main event slot, like you said, Andre Orlovsky, he's fighting no joke, Of course, Josh Copeland, Cuddly Bear, that nickname, no matter what, that dude is no joke. It's just, I think Arlovsky's better, even with his age, We could say maybe the chin and stuff. I just think that he's going to be too skillful. And even if he's staying on his feet in and out, I think the little shots will add up, though, all it takes is one from Copeland to catch Arlovsky. I just don't think he will. I think Arlovsky pieces him up. And he either gets him out of there or he wins on the judges. Not often you see fights go to the judges, but, bigger guys, they could probably take a shot a little better. I'm just going to take Arlovsky. So minus 230, a little chalky, but I don't know if he's going to get the knockout. Maybe you want to play the decision as it just is. Probably be bigger odds. So, I just took both of those guys in the money line.
Yeah, I like Arlovsky. He's minus 227 right now, so money is coming in on Copeland. I like Orlovsky here. I do think he knocks him out. I mean, he has the reach advantage. He has the height advantage. I think he deserves to be the favorite here. And all it takes is one from Copeland, but the experience, I think, from Orlovsky. Granted, not in the BKFC, but still, he's fought world champions. No disrespect to you, Josh. But
Copeland has fought 3 consecutive times in Endeavor. This is his first time in BKFC fighting outside of that. Yeah, elevation could help, but maybe change the locations doesn't, so we'll see.
Yeah. Give me Andre Arlovsky.
Like it. And you got something for
Jessica? I don't have anything. I was just naming
evil eye.
Yeah, I don't have anything. It was interesting that she's making her debut. She's an underdog too.
I think the girl she's fighting is tough as fuck, and I'm gonna fade Jessica I, dude. I thought you were gonna take a play on her, but I didn't want to touch it. But after everything you said, it just makes me want to fade her. So fade Evil Eye, Evil Eye, Evil Eye.
Fader at your own risk. Joe, get home safely. What's the plan? Going home tomorrow?
Free breakfast and I'm out.
Attaboy.
I got stuff to
How
do.
long to
Gotta
drive?
win.
5 hours?
Yeah, about 5.5.
Oh,
Not
that's
bad.
not bad. Yeah. All right. Well,
Lock in, do it.
enjoy. Get
Raw
home
dog.
safe. Everyone enjoy the games. Enjoy the fights. Should be a very interesting weekend. Good luck on all your bets, and we will see you next week.
Let's go Coastal. Let's go Coastal.